Hello, I'm Matt Ort, and author of Save Your Company, Don't Feed the Beast. And I've got an interesting topic for you today, in that the healthcare industrial complex likes the DPC movement and doesn't lose anything from the DPC movement. So let me explain. Now, if you know me, you know that I highly value DPC. It's at the center of my model of direct care in a free market environment. So it's a bit of a play on words. But I think it's really important to make this point. So when we say the healthcare industrial complex, we're talking about big insurance, namely the BUCAs. We're talking about big hospital systems, and we're talking about what I have called traditional brokers, brokers that have misaligned compensation and are just selling insurance for their own benefit and getting very wealthy, but watching employer plans fall apart and become unaffordable for most hardworking Americans. So those that are not taking the necessary actions to align their compensation and actually be advisors instead of just blandly selling insurance. So those three, if we look at how each of those are affected by the DPC movement only, so if we look at big insurance, they're really mostly unaffected. It doesn't really affect their profitability, or they're not losing any plans, and so they're mostly probably somewhat don't care about that. They're not really threatened by that in any way. The hospital systems, we could say, well, they're losing the primary care business, but they might like that. They've reduced primary care to patient panels of 2,000 or 2,500, which is why most primary care physicians in hospital systems are very frustrated. 30 patients a day and lots of coding and wasted time. And so, and then they found it in many cases to be a loss leader. They get about 7 minutes because of those patient panel sizes. And so it's almost like it's outsourced primary care, and then they just get the referrals to their expensive specialty care. So they might actually like this movement if it were just that. And then traditional brokers, again, namely, mostly unaffected. They don't lose any commissions or overrides or any compensation for DPC alone. Now it does start to take the employer on a new path, which they may not like if they risk losing their commissions from the BUCAs or other rewards of retention awards and 5-star vacations if they start losing BUCA plans. But the DPC movement alone doesn't threaten that. So here's where we come in. We say DPC is the heartbeat of the model that I utilize, the direct care model. And it's the heartbeat for two reasons. One, we're taking primary care back to what it was maybe 40 years ago, where it's relationship oriented, and it's accessible. It's 30 to 60 minutes, and patient panels of 500 to 600, and we can manage chronic conditions and actually cure things, and not just string a person along on meds or something the rest of their life, which is very profitable. And the second is that people listen to the authority of the white coat. So then we have influence to go to what the key part of this is. DPC plus DSC, direct specialty care, is where much of the employer cost goes. So then we really open up the free market, and like we've done in Wisconsin and some other states are doing, we're juxtaposing, this sounds like a big dream, right? But we're juxtaposing a new healthcare system. We're creating and juxtaposing next to the current broken one, the one that's unaffordable and accessible and is just declining daily. So this new system is made up of direct care, direct primary care, referring to direct specialty care, and employers aligning their plans to make not only direct care within the plan, in network, if you will. I'm not a fan of networks per se. There are lots of good independent networks out there, but usually no deductible, so actually less cost. So an incentive to go to those because the quality tends to be higher, the accessibility is much better, and the care tends to be much better. So when we look at this new system juxtaposed next to the old one, we end up with a really interesting we end up with a free market. Now employers, as long as they align their plans and adjust their plans, they have a choice. They can go to the old one still, and then go to the new one. But guess where they choose? Do we go to the restaurant that's too expensive or has cold food or poor service? Do we keep going back, or do we adjust and go to where we get the best price and the better service? So same with healthcare, same with any free market. And that's how we do it. And that's why it's not just the direct primary care movement, it's really the direct care movement, because we've got to include direct specialty care in there for the big savings and for the employers and their employees to ultimately get a fair deal for healthcare. And in doing so, then it really, right, this free market, the bad restaurant, it forces that the old system to either change or not be around. That's what a free market's about, for the benefit of the consumer. Either increase your quality, increase your accessibility, and lower your cost and share your cost, or you might not be around, and that causes the ones that will adjust to come over. Come join us. Come join us in this free market movement. We'd love for that. Those traditional brokers, come join us. Those hospital systems, come join us. But those that are stubborn, or those that don't want to do it, or those that want to continue to have this win-lose relationship, then they may find themselves struggling as we progress this movement. We've done it in Wisconsin. We're going to do it in Texas, so stay tuned. Thanks for your time today. God bless.